What you're looking at is a picture of Mariupol, or at least what Mariupol used to look like. Of course, right now, it's been practically razed to the ground by the Russians. Many of the people who used to live in that city have fled to the next town along the way. Here, Zaporizhia. And in this little square mile of the city, many of the residents of Mariupol have found, albeit a temporary, new home. But they are the displaced of Mariupol.
Моє серце сталь, моя кров азов, не плач, моя люба, воскреснемо знов.
Mariupol has seen some of the worst of all the fighting in the conflict between Moscow and Kiev. Situated along the coast in what is referred to as the land bridge connecting mainland Russia to the Crimean Peninsula, so much of what this war is about. So it was a fundamental war aim of Russia to capture it. Ukraine made them pay for it, bogging down the Russian advance for months. Although in the process, a once pleasant seaside port town became a shattered meat grinder. Famously, Ukrainian units held out at the city's steel factory, Azov Steel, becoming heroes, an example of resistance against the invaders, providing moving images that bolstered morale then and today. All the while, though, civilians, as always, found themselves caught in the middle, notably at the theater, where people took refuge, pleading with Russia not to attack, that Deти, or children, were inside, clearly writing it so spotter planes or drones could see. Russia took no heed, and all but destroyed the site, killing unknown numbers. Some estimates put it at least 600 dead, men, women, and children. It was clear the only way to survive was to flee, and many did, most stopping at the nearest convenient spot on the other side of the river in Zaporizhia, either from exhaustion or because they just left everything behind them and hadn't the financial means to move further on. Now, Zaporizhia is a hub for the displaced people of Mariupol, whether they stayed in the city or moved on to other locations. Vika helps keep records and contacts of those in 16 different cities inside Ukraine and beyond.
Well, the Zaporizhia Center was opened because it was in a city that, in principle, was the first to welcome everyone who was leaving the occupied territory. Some people stayed in Zaporizhia, while many others continued to travel abroad and to other cities. For example, Lviv and many others.
But many thousands fled onwards before the center opened, and trying to keep them in the loop, informed and supported, is a primary job of the community center. That's not the only service the Mariupol authorities provide here.
We have HR manager who helped Mariupol people find job.
Sadly, even though these people have escaped what happened in Mariupol, here in Zaporizhia, there's still that sound, air raid sirens. But they've set up a community here where they're helping one another as best they can. They have facilities for basic essentials in life. Dentists, beauty salons, a day school, helping people find work temporarily within their homes here now in Zaporizhia, and of course, providing humanitarian aid. What's interesting to see, though, is that these people still have a real sense of solidarity. It is the mayor, in essence, in exile, who arranged much of this for the citizens who have fled the fighting and are hoping someday soon to return to their home. Дякую.
И вот именно в бытовых центрах уже 4 по Украине.
Отлично, отлично.
Doctor, on vacation?
Понял, понял. Не.
Как будет привет на английском, кто знает?
Hello.
Hey, good job. Понял. Ага.
У нас ученица Мариуполь
Мариуполь, государственный.
Мы очень благодарны.
We are very
властям
grateful
за
to
то,
the
что
authorities for what they have done for the people, and they provided us with employment. Ukrainians and everyone else are helping, and we are grateful to everyone, loving and thanking them all.
The people in Zaporizhia, they've been nice to you?
Yes, people have also received us warmly.
А здесь мы как в Мариуполе.
Here, it feels like Mariupol, everything is familiar. We can go downtown, and it feels like home.
But it's difficult, yes?
It is very difficult. It weighs heavily on your morale.
Well, all the same,
But it's not home. It's another city.
Yes, we really want to go home, and we are waiting until we can go home to Mariupol.
and we believe.
Yes, we believe.
We believe that we will return home soon.
No matter what, it's our native city.
Her son is defending Ukraine.
No, Lyra, let's not. I can't.
It's hard, but everything will be better in the end.
Everything will be fine, we believe in it.
Будет перемога.
There will be victory, no one doubts it.
This is the last war. After this, no more.
No, no more.
Sorry, excuse me.
It's the last Ukrainian war of independence.
Украина — это Украина.
Ukraine is Ukraine, it's our homeland, and we wouldn't trade it for anything. No matter how good it may be elsewhere, we need to be home.
But what they may be returning to could be wholly different. Reports are that Russians are offering lucrative contracts to build so-called Potemkin villages so Russia can show off its generosity. Vladimir Putin even made a visit to prove the city was better in Russian hands, the only time he stepped foot in Ukraine since the war began. However, he did do it at night. Now, maybe for security reasons or maybe to hide the fact that the destruction that happened cannot be hidden by just one rebuilt building or a street. And even during his visit, things didn't exactly go according to plan.
Нравится?
What Putin and many Russians don't seem to want to accept is that no rebuilding can make up for the vast damage that's been done or mend the irrevocable rift that now exists because of it.
They try to paint a pretty little picture, but I don't believe it.
The families ripped away from their homes certainly remember there is little that surrounds them at the center that doesn't speak to their loss. And some of the most poignant scenes of the fighting in Mariupol are displayed at the heart of the community center where children play and the parents find support, including psychological care for their trauma.
We've gotten tremendous, colossal support. Assistance was provided not only for children, but also for adults. They found friends, they found support. The kids have become older, more resilient, and more mature. It's been very important. But there was never a moment when they didn't think about their home, their previous life, their hobbies, friends, and all the things that were dear to them. Childhood has been stolen from the children.
And as I've said so many times before, it's always the kids in a war zone that get me the most. So I filmed that a little while ago down in Zaporizhia before this spring counteroffensive began in earnest. And one of the objectives, one of the primary objectives of that counteroffensive is to regain Mariupol, to retake it, to liberate it from Russian hands. Because while Zaporizhia may be the hub of where most of the citizens fled to, they are spread throughout the country here in Ukraine. In the capital, I know several. And not only in Ukraine, but they have joined the diaspora of people driven from their homes by the cruelty of the invading Russian forces. And when you talk to people from Mariupol, they're hoping that this counteroffensive will succeed, that they will regain Mariupol, one of the last major cities still in Russian hands. Here on St. Sofiyski Square, this banner has been there since the fall of Mariupol, reminding citizens here that there is a town, a city, a people occupied currently, and they hope that that will be a temporary situation, and that eventually, and hopefully soon, they will no longer be the displaced of Mariupol, but rather the returned. As always, Slava Ukraini, Geroyam Slava.